do. I think I could probably do this with no headphones rather than have headphones. I feel like headphones. Now, you know what? Let's go without the. I'll do headphones. So, what's going on, guys? Donnie Rouse here. Let's just go right into it. Hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast One Life. Committed action. Burn the boat, and you will take the island. This is one of my favorite quotes because it is literally how I've achieved everything that I am proud of in my life. The travels, the results with my body. And what it means is this. What it means is that when you leave no other out, the only way to go is forward. So do you have these exciting dreams, things you want to do that would literally light you up and probably change the entire trajectory of your life if you had did them? And maybe they would open up a new part of your identity. But what happens when you don't take action? You start to recoil, you start to self-doubt. And then all of a sudden now, these dreams you had seem somewhere very far off in the distant. If this has been you, I want you to relax because, listen, we all go there, right? When you're aiming for something new, you're always going to hit resistance because you're attempting to go somewhere that you had never been. And that spurs some fear. But in order to move forward, you must step into that fear. Because on the other side is everything that you could ever dream for and wanted. In my own life, this has been one of the key strategies I've used literally in everything. No bullshit. Everything. When I look at my travels, I'll give you a couple examples. One was in my travels when I was going to Nepal. I wanted to hike Mount Everest's base camp, but I was scared shitless because I had heard stories about altitude sickness. I had never gone to that part of the world, and the flight was something like 30 hours. By the time I got there, I had 2 layovers. It was over 30 hours, 34 hours. And so nothing about that was even appealing to me. I was like, oh my God, I got to do that. I was stuck in the process. But then I thought about what the goal was. What was my goal? I wanted to go to Mount Everest's base camp. I wanted to see the sunrise over Mount Everest. And so I had this clear experience of what the topography would look like. And seeing the mountains, looking like I was on maybe the dark side of the moon somewhere. And then I heard about the friends that told me about these tea houses where you go in there and you eat great food. And so the experience just seemed like a lot of fun to me. I would always look online at tickets, but when I would go to online to look at the tickets, I would I'd look and then I would close the computer. I'd go back the next day, look, close the computer. And this happened over a multitude of times. One day I was talking to one of my friends, my friend Paula, and she said, hey, I was on the phone. I was brought up the tickets again. She's like, I saw a ticket, and this ticket was, I think it was I don't know if it was $700 to go to Kathmandu, which was freaking insane because literally it's on the other side of the world. And she's like, oh my God, you have to book it. I think it was $900. She's like, you have to book it. This price it's the perfect price. So with her encouragement on the phone, I was like, oh God, all right. Boom. And I tapped it. Immediately after I hit that buy button, I was like, oh shit, what did I do? And I had the night I went to sleep, I was having dreams about something going wrong. And I was like, all right, I need to chill out. And I focused on the reasons why I wanted it. I ended up going to Kathmandu, having the most insane experience of my life, one of the most insane experiences of my life. And I'll give you a little tidbit. I arrive at the airport, and I can't remember the name. I don't know if it's the Ganges, but they're burning bodies of this in a ceremony on this river here. And so the city is just filled with smoke. I have a taxi driver, and I was worried about whether or not he was gonna take me to the right place or extort me. So he's flying through the city. You can't see anything out of the front window, and I'm ducking behind the driver's seat in the back because I'm afraid he's gonna hit somebody. Because as all I see is smoke out the window, and then I see I'll see some feet at the bottom where the smoke level was where there was no smoke, and the car just missing it by feet. And that's not even, I mean, I'm not even talking about the experience on Everest, on going to base camp. But the entire trip was very much colored that way. And so if I had not, if I had not followed through, none of that experience, I wouldn't have that experience to even tell you about. One more example of is when I did my physique contest. My physique contest was one of the best experiences of my life because it not only, I mean, I've always been in great shape, but it helped me hone in a lot of things in terms of my eating habits as well as what is possible. There was a time where a friend of mine was in the pool and I hadn't seen him in a while. And he looked like he had transformed his physique. I saw him, I was like, man, he's also like, I think 20 years younger than me. So I'm 42. And so I saw him like, man, your body looks great. He said, oh, thanks. I've been working out a little bit, I'm like, all right, well, give me 3 months. I'm gonna catch up to you. And he's like, yeah, right, you could do that. And in my mind, I was like, you motherfucker, this is in my mind. I didn't say it to him, but I was livid. I was like, I am going to join that competition and I am going to be your competitor. So the very next day, I signed up for the competition. I had called the guy and I went into the gym and I said, hey, I want to do this competition. He said, but the competition's 6 months out. Like, you don't have to sign up now. I could start training you, but you don't have to sign up now. Come back in 3 months. And I told him, I was like, no way. I was like, I want to sign up now because if I sign up now, then it is real. And then I know that I must follow through. So he obliged. He said, okay, that's fine. If you want, you can sign up now. So I signed up now and then I committed to it. And just to give you some detail as to how intense the training and the eating regimen, all the stuff can be. Like now it seems pretty easy. Like I get the hardest part, if I were to go back and do it again, the hardest part would just be committing to the gym because sometimes I'd be there 2 hours, sometimes even more. So that would be the most difficult time now, but that's because I developed the process to do it. I understood the pathways to getting it done faster and more efficiently. So it was like the eating, I'd shop twice a week. I'd do meal preps, I was eating 6 meals a day and then at specific times during that day, making sure that I always got in my calories and then working at the gym for 3 hours. It was like having another job, literally. But once I did it, I didn't miss, in the 6 months, I think I might have missed one meal the entire time I was doing it, which is, excuse me, I got something in my eye. I missed, I think, a single meal, which was, it just showed you my level of discipline and commitment in going towards this. So that was my vision, but what was the why? Why was I so committed to this? Several things. One, I wanted to prove that I was capable and that I can do it, right? No one's going to tell me what I can and can't do, especially my friend. So there was that commitment there and wanting to prove him wrong. Another powerful commitment was not wanting to look silly on stage. Like I'm going to be on stage posing in a bathing suit. I wanted to make sure that I looked good and that the judges were wowed about with my physique. And then there was, just always, I'd always wanted to do one of these contests that I never followed through until this moment, until when I just said, you know what, let me sign up. I had that leverage to push me towards competition. And then I said, okay, I'm doing this. And signing that contract was the burning of the boat. So in looking at a framework, like, all right, well, how can you apply this to your life? Like, first and foremost, get clear about what it is that you want. Right? What is it? What's the vision? What do you see like that end goal? Like, what is the vision? For me, it was me posing on stage like with the first place. I did not win first place, but it was me being on stage and just seeing myself like posing and doing all these things and looking at the musculature. I can't even say the word. Looking at this, my physique and be like, man, wow, I look great. And the why, as I had just mentioned, the why was to prove my friend wrong, to show myself that I was able to do it, to not look silly on stage. So I had several things that were giving me that support as far as my purpose. And then the next thing was like, well, what are the actions I could take? And then for the argument here, like we're just focusing on what are the actions that are going to lock you in, that are going to make you take that decisive step forward. like I said, it only takes 3 seconds of courage. That means like 1, 2, 3, you commit by pressing the buy button, do whatever it is that's going to lock you in. Look at those steps, right? Like what are 3 different steps you can do that lock you in? So if I was using the physique contest, right, I could have said, all right, well, one step could have been me doing the contest. Another step could have been me getting the coach, right? For most people, that would be considered like a big step, right? Because now you have the coach, they're training you, you're going to be able to see the results, and you have the accountability because you told the coach that the reason why you were doing it in the first place was so you could compete. And maybe, you told the entire world, right? There's when you tell a lot of people here to do something, they're like, "Oh, wow, that's great." And now all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, wow. I said I was going to do this. I can't really back out now. I guess I got to follow through." Right? So three different actions right there, right? A public proclamation of it, hiring the coach, and signing up for the contest. 3 different things I could have done. What are they for you as it relates to your goal? Right? Write down. Maybe it's, giving you another example, maybe it's like the trip to Italy. Maybe you want to go to Italy. I'll use the analogy I always do because I love pizza and it never gets played out. You want to go to Italy, you want to go to Naples because you want to try the pizza, right? What are 3 steps that you can do in order to move yourself forward and commit to it? 1, you could buy the plane ticket, right? And you could literally put on your schedule, buy the plane ticket. So this way it's booked a year, maybe a year out, right? Because you could pretty much do everything in a year. If you book it out far enough in advance, you could move your schedule around. Or maybe you booked like the hotel and you made a reservation at the pizza place, because sometimes, the reservations could literally go out like 6 months. And you're like, if you want to eat at this place, you got to be there at a specific time. And maybe you invited a friend to go along with you and they're committed. They're not going to let you off the hook and they've already bought the ticket. So now you're like, oh, that would be really messed up if I just backed out now. Get the leverage. And again, whatever the step is, obviously it's going to depend on your comfort zone and what you're comfortable doing. But I encourage you to do the one that's going to make you follow through, that's going to make you commit. And as I said before, it only takes 3 seconds of courage. 1, 2, 3, go. Click that buy button. Do whatever it is that is going to lock you into doing the thing you want, and emphasis, want to do, because you'll feel 100 times better once you've actually in process. You'll feel alive. So to give you one more example, like this podcast here, the launch of my One Life Blueprint course. I'm doing a workshop tomorrow regarding the course. Not tomorrow, Wednesday. And in this workshop, I was in a co-working space, and the co-working manager said, "Hey, do you want to present to everyone here at the co-working space?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean? On coffee?" She said, "No, on your personal development stuff, like on your One Life." I was like, "All right, fine. Yeah, that sounds awesome." And I signed up, and I knew there was a little bit of apprehension in doing it because I knew I would have to commit to it. Once I committed, I knew I would have to follow through. But I also knew that by following through with this, 1, it would give me some experience as I'm doing, like building out the course. I would get some feedback. 2, I would just be more comfortable. I mean, I'm comfortable in front of a camera, but it would just make it easier for me. And 3, it's what I want to do, So I want to inspire people. So the opportunity to do that, like I didn't want to turn that down. And I love public speaking. So that was, those were the reasons why I said, well, yes. And then after I committed to it, I was like, oh boy, what did I do? And now I'm in the preparation process where I'm creating my sheets and I'm going to go into it. But you get many redos in life, right? There's nothing that is permanent. And I think one of the reasons why so many people hesitate or they get fearful, and I'm guilty of it myself in many ways, is that you think that by if it doesn't go right, that's it. Or, you make it like a life or death situation when it's really not. So in closing, be easy on yourself. Just take an action. Realize that wherever you are, whatever you do, just by committing to the action, you're going to be a lot further along than you would if you had not taken the action, right? So maybe, you commit to something, but you don't get all the way. You commit to doing a marathon, hiring the coach, but for some reason you didn't get into the New York City Marathon, but you did all the training. Hey, you're still did all the training, right? So now you know the entire process. When you apply and you go for next year, you're going to have that pathway to get there faster. So that is all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please share this with 5 people whom can benefit from hearing this. Please comment below. Ask any questions you would like to ask. I would be more than happy to hear them and reply to those to give you any clarity on this concept of committed action. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. The only way you're going to get my podcast consistently and not miss a beat, as well as move your life forward, right? Because we're talking about what's important to you. There's so much shit and noise out there in the world preventing you from following what is aligned with your heart, and I am here to connect you with that. So do yourself that favor and just hit that subscribe button. Never miss an episode. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, you only get one life. Live it. Thank you. God bless, and I will see you again soon.